Good evening, everybody. This is Michael Reeves, part of the Autumn Wind Internet Football League. And tonight we are getting ready. We're just a couple of minutes away from hosting game number 2 out of 4 divisional playoff series. Tonight, this is the first game in the AFC, and it features the 9-7 Philadelphia Eagles, who won their wild card round game last week against the Oakland Raiders, who were 11-5, facing the number 1 seed of the AFC, and that is the Houston Oilers, who won what's called the Knoll Division, the Chuck Knoll Divisions. They were 15-1, best record in the AFC, facing off against the 9-7 club from the Bill Walsh Division. The Eagles are coached by Dave Szymanski, a long-time coach, not only in this Autumn Wind League, which has been in its electronic form in 17 years. Dave Szymanski was one of the early leaders in this league that has its roots dating all the way back to 1969. This was a card and dice game for years and years. And Dave Szymanski and a number of his friends there on the West Coast basically started this as a card and dice game, but he has stuck around for, all the way since the early 70s. He has a career 65% winning percentage. In these last 17 years in electronic form, Dave has made the playoffs 10 times. He has been to the Super Bowl, or what we call our Ooper Bowl. He's been one time. He lost in 2019-2020. He lost last year to the Dallas Cowboys. This year, he did beat a couple of playoff teams along the way with those 9 wins, including Oakland and the New Orleans Saints. Both of those 2 clubs were eliminated in the wild card round. So we're waiting for the number to pop up so we can jump in to watch the contest here. We'll tell you a little bit about Houston. 15-1 season, best season ever for Nathan Baylor. He's been in this league for 9 years. This is his 6th playoff. He was a runner-up in the Ooper Bowl back in 2015, 2016. He lost to Dennis Crowley and the Seattle Seahawks. No shame there. Crowley is a fantastic coach. When you win 15 games along the way, you're going to beat some playoff teams, and by far and away, this was the most dominant team when it came to beating tough clubs, probably one of the toughest schedules you're going to find in the entire league of 30 teams. He beat 6 playoff teams along the way, including my own team, the Los Angeles Rams, demolished my team, and my club is 13-3. This is a very, very rough club. They are going to be a tough out for anybody, not the least of which Philadelphia tonight. We can take a look here at the playoff tree. We've got a fine graphic designer in our league who has put together a playoff tree. Right there, you see the opening round. Dallas has moved to the second round. We had our first game last night between Seattle Seahawks and the New York Giants that you see there in the bottom right. We'll tell you a little bit later about the winner of that contest. If you look here to the left, I need to update this. They've actually updated to the Elite 8, but for right now, the New England Patriots in the upper left-hand corner there in your AFC bracket has advanced, and they will be playing Tampa Bay tomorrow night. This is Wednesday, February, I have to think about it, 14, 13, 12, 11. It's February 10th. So the Houston game, that you can see the Eagles there in the lower left-hand corner. They are playing Houston tonight, and then tomorrow night we will watch Tampa Bay play New England. Saturday, the Los Angeles Rams will take on the Dallas Cowboys. So Nathan has put a number up, so we'll get ready to hop into the game here. I've got some good game statistics for both of these clubs, and we'll sprinkle them in during this contest. When you see a 15-1 team playing a 9-7, obviously, by all appearances, Philadelphia has an uphill battle. But Szymanski is a great coach. He looked great the other day beating Oakland, an 11-5 team. But again, they are on the road tonight. It's going to be a very tough matchup. They did play during the season one time. Houston traveled to Philadelphia and only won 22-17. So let's see what happens tonight. And hopefully we'll jump in. 20. I think I put the wrong number in. Okay, give us another try. 24,803. And we are underway. And we've only missed, looks like one play, perhaps, so far. So Houston has the ball. Don't know if they won the toss or if Philadelphia deferred. Won the toss and took the ball, or Philadelphia deferred. Either way, Houston has it. 1st and 10 at their own 29-yard line. So we'll open up the card image here. We'll throw this over to the right. We'll put the so far today box over here so we can keep track of statistics. Move this over here to the left. I'll be checking the lobby here every once in a while to see if anybody's going to join us. You're more than welcome to join us in this broadcast. There's an inside run for Joe Mixon. It's a pickup of 4, and it's 2nd down and 6. Nathan has actually joined us here on a couple of broadcasts here lately, but he's playing tonight, so obviously he can't be in the broadcast. But we've had our and Saminsky was in the broadcast yesterday too. So here's 2 of my broadcasters. Dennis Crowley could join us a little bit later. Larry Davis, the CEO of the league, was in too. So we'll see who joins us for the rest of the night. 8:30 on the East Coast, 5:30 Pacific time. Game 2 of the 4 divisional playoff series for Autumn Win 2020-21. Philadelphia Eagles, Dave Saminsky, 9-7 up against the Houston Texans, 15-1, coached by Nathan Baylor. So it's 3rd down and 6 for Houston here on their opening drive. Houston's led by Tom Brady, 3,400 yards passing this year, 21 touchdowns against 7 interceptions. He'll be going up against Kirk Cousins, who also threw for around 3,500 yards, 21 touchdowns, but he did have 15 interceptions. 3rd and 6, 3 wide set. And they're playing with a blocking back. Sidecar left of Tom Brady, 3 wide set. That includes Tim Patrick, Valdez-Scantling, and Sammy Watkins. The receivers didn't put up huge receiving numbers. Valdez-Scantling had a 25-yard per catch average for the season, 1,300 yards receiving. And there's a screen over to Fant. They needed 6, and they'll pick up 7, so that's another 1st down. So not a lot of big reception numbers for any of these receivers or that tight end, the rookie Noah Fant from Denver. Scantling was acquired actually in a trade at the beginning of the season. There's a play guessed wrong, the dreaded 5 for Gus Edwards. Usually that's a 0, but he will manage to pick up a yard on that play. So 2nd down and 9. 3-man zone, that pass is caught. Pickup of 11 for Fant. And he will take the ball to the 3. I think I was looking at the screen incorrectly. I believe there must have been a large chunk play that I must have missed as I jumped in a little bit late on this broadcast. So we'll catch up with the play-by-play here in just a second to figure out what that play was. But Houston has made their way down to the Eagles 3. They now have a full house backfield. Eagles average run defense, good pass defense. Houston, good pass defense, good run defense, average pass defense. There's a sneak for Brady. It's guessed wrong, picks up 3. And Houston on their first possession marches down the field. And with that extra point, they've taken the lead 7-0. So on that drive, Gus Edwards rushed for 45 yards, including a 21-yard 21-yard run. And Brady threw for 21 yards. So the Eagles did take over after that lengthy, close to 6-minute drive. Missed that 4-yard play, 6 on that first play. Now 2nd down and 4 for the Eagles. Again, that's Kirk Cousins under center. Alvin Kamara was a 1,000-yard back this year. He also was, I think he had 83 receptions this year. No, actually, that's not true. Henry led this club in receptions with 101. And Kyle Juszczyk had 67. Fuller had 40. And Kamara had 40. So we'll see Kamara. We'll see Pollard in this game. I believe he also has TJ Yeldon, which we saw in the game a little bit last week, too, in their win against Oakland. And now Pollard has checked into the game for the first time with the ball resting at the 38. We're halfway through the first quarter. Eagles trailing 7-0. There's an off-tackle run for Pollard, but he gets a bad roll. Guessed wrong, but it's a 5. And for him, that's a 0. So now it's 3rd and 10. Ball at the 38. So Baylor and his Texans have an average pass defense, but one thing his club is exceptional at is rushing the quarterback. They were 4th in the league in sacks this year. Melvin Ingram put up big numbers. Double teaming Henry and Fuller on this play. This pass is intended for Devin Smith. And he goes deep, but the pass ball's incomplete. And so the Eagles will have to turn this ball over. Quinn led the club with 13 sacks. So while they do have an average pass defense, they make up for it in putting heat on the quarterback. And so Houston will now take over on their second possession. Ball resting at the 16. But we were mentioning not a lot of big reception numbers for basically anybody on this club. There's a big per game average for Scandling and 1,300 yards total for the year. He's the deep threat. This club ran the ball 500 times this year, which was second in the entire league. 501 attempts. Only one other club, Seattle, had more rushing attempts than Houston. And there's a run on their first play, and that picks up 19 for Gus Edwards, who's off to a lightning start here. 5 carries for 64 yards as they've already made their way into Philadelphia territory. 2nd and 11. They're at their own territory. 34, I'm sorry. They haven't flipped the field just yet. 2nd down and 11. That was another carry for Edwards. This time he stopped for a yard loss. Linebacker plugs the zone. 2nd and 11. They're flooding the flats here. They've left the middle open. There's a deep target, but the pass ball's incomplete. So Eagles catch a little bit of a break there. They call run, flood the left and right flats. Baylor goes deep to Valdez Scandling, his number 1 deep threat. But a 7 on Tom Brady's card is an incomplete pass. That's a pretty scary guessed wrong card. Long pass for Brady. So the Eagles got away with one there. 3rd and 11. Looking for Fant. 4 men in the zone, and the pass is incomplete. So the good pass defense for the Eagles comes through on this play, and they will get the ball back. They were stymied rather quickly on their first drive. Let's see if they can get a little bit of momentum going on this one. This is going to be a huge kick that the Eagles will field at the 5. And a nice little return there of 12 yards, fielded actually at the 8. And the Eagles have the ball 1st and 10 at their own 20. We'll go to the lobby and see if anybody else is here. So we'll be flying solo a little bit tonight, but if anybody's listening and would like to join, feel free. Here's a pitch to Kamara. Defense guesses pass. Nice pickup on the play of 5. Offensive tackle, able to make the block. He only needed to be a 4. And that's exactly what he is. He's a 4. Kind of a below average line there with 4 run blockers on your tackles, 0s for the guards, but he does have a 6 at center, which is a really nice luxury. Off tackle run for Kamara. Run keyed correctly. Kamara is stopped in the backfield. And so, again, the animation tricks us up there just a little bit, and somehow not only did Philadelphia maintain possession after a 1-yard loss, they also have a first down. So they must have advanced the fumble, but we didn't see the animation. So regardless, the Eagles have the ball 1st and 10 at their own 32. And there's a pitch out to Kamara. 5th carry so far for Alvin. 2nd down and 5. So the Eagles look like they are committed to running the ball. Houston has a good run defense and an average pass defense, but you've got to be concerned about the pass rush with Quinn and Ingram. Quinn and Ingram are defensive ends here. So there's a pass to Juszczyk, but it loses a yard. So now it's 3rd and 6. So Quinn is a defensive end in this set, but it wasn't unusual to see him as an outside linebacker. So he's just an average run defender, but again, when you've got that solid pass rush from both sides that you don't have to worry about blitzing. If you just bring some other people, it makes them far more effective, and both of them. Well, one is an asterisk pass rusher. Actually, Ingram is not. He's an 8. But he's able to manage 9 sacks because Houston brings it from all directions here. Now it's 3rd and 6. The Eagles go with a 3-wide set with Cousins under center. That's Yeldon who's checked into the game. That's also Keelan Cole, who caught a touchdown pass in the last contest. Defense counters 3-3-5. Off tackle run for Yeldon. Defense guesses pass. And it's only a pickup of 3 on the defensive card as the offensive tackle is not able to make the block. He was downgraded on that play. And so Houston will have their 3rd possession of the game. Philadelphia has not been able to move the ball much at all here in this first quarter. Houston drove, long drive actually on their first possession to take the 7-0 lead, and now they've got decent field position as they start from their own 36. 15-1, Coach Nathan Baylor, 15-1. 9 seasons. This is his 6th. I believe it's his 6th playoff. I think he's had 5 seasons in a row, as a matter of fact, of double-digit wins. So he's been a very, very effective coach for many years, and he's been a factor in these playoffs, though he hasn't been to a league championship since 2015-2016. Here's an off-tackle draw to Edwards. That's his 7th carry of the game. It only picks up 2. You'll see 2 running backs for Houston tonight. That's Gus Edwards and Joe Mixon for the real-life Cincinnati Bengals. Both of them had over 200 carries, and as we mentioned earlier, this club ran the ball a lot this year. 500 total carries, 2nd in the league, only to the Seattle Seahawks. Here's a pass, and that is complete. Guessed wrong. 10 yards, just enough for a first down. and that's to Fant, who's been the primary target so far for Brady. In fact, he's been the only target. Well, not the only target, but he's got the only 3 passes from Brady, who thus far is 3 for 6. There's a run up the middle that will pick up 5, and that was Edwards again. 8 carries for 70 yards. He has a 21-yard. He does have a 21-yard run. That was on the first possession. That helped Houston find their way to the end zone. They were up 7-0. They made their way into Eagles territory for the second time as we've now entered into the second quarter. Mixon has checked into the game. That's Noah Fant, the rookie tight end from Denver, as the blocking back. There's a quick out looking for Ebron, a natural tight end. He will catch it for 5 yards and another first down for Houston. So Tom Brady, the real-life 7-time Super Bowl champion. In fantasy land, he is leading the Houston Texans this year to a 15-1 season. There is a big run for 21 yards. So Gus Edwards is 9 yards away from getting 100 yards, and we're not even halfway through the first quarter. I joined the broadcast a little late. I haven't seen much of the gains on his card, actually. It seems like it's been on the defensive card. There's a run up the middle for 4, but Gus fumbles, and it looks like Houston has recovered. So a 4-yard pickup on the play for Edwards. It was guessed wrong. Philadelphia is able to strip it, but unable to come up with it. So that's the second fumble of the game, but both clubs have been able to recover their own fumble. 2nd down and 6 with the ball resting at the 16 of the Eagles. Houston's already up 7-0. There's a look in for Ebron. A look to Ebron, excuse me, that's incomplete. So 3rd and 6. Maybe it's a little too early in this game to offer the big play cliche, but the Eagles are not a club that scores a prolific amount of points. So holding them to a field goal here would be pretty special. They do not want to go down 2 touchdowns. To this Houston club, 15-1 this year, only 1 loss to the Southern California Sun. 1 loss away from a perfect 16-0. 2 15-1 clubs in this an autumn win this year, Houston and Seattle. So there's a play that only picks up 1. Actually, it's a loss of 1 for Joe Mixon on his 3rd carry. Philadelphia bends but doesn't break. They only allow 3 here, but they are trailing 10-0 to the 15-1 Houston Texans. So Saminsky will take over with the ball at his 37 after a pretty decent kick return. But once again, we didn't get to see. 11 minutes to go here in the first half. The winner of this game will take on the winner of tomorrow night's contest between the New England Patriots and the 14-2 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Yesterday, we saw the first of 4 divisional playoff games. Seattle Seahawks also 15-1, taking on the 9-6-1 New York Giants. And we can go ahead and give that one. Seattle coming out on top of that game. So they have advanced to the NFC Finals, and they'll take on the winner of Dallas and Los Angeles this weekend. There's a pass that is incomplete. It was a look-in pass. It was a -1 on Kirk Cousins' card. But since it was a look-in pass, you don't get a 1-yard loss. Instead, it's going to be an incomplete pass. And so, again, it's 3rd and 6. Eagles having early trouble navigating the field here. They haven't seen the 50-yard, or they haven't gone beyond the 50-yard line here in this first half. So they're another big 3rd down conversion. They're 0 for 2 so far. There's a screen to Yeldon. Defense guesses run. This could be something good, and it will be. Wouldn't have mattered anyway. It was a white dice 6, so that means 0 men in the zone. It's a pickup of 13. So for the first time in this contest, the Eagles have traversed the 50-yard line. Ball is at the 45 of the Texans. They're trailing 10-0. An important drive for the Eagles to put some points on the board here. Trying to stay close. Here's an inside run for Kamara. Defense gets past there, so that's a 6-yard pickup. 2nd down and 4. 9 minutes on a moving clock. The Texans hosting the Eagles. Texans number 1 seed. Philadelphia Eagles number 5 seed. There's a nice run up the middle, and there that 6 center plays a big role. That's a nice gain of 10 yards. No linebacker was there to plug that zone, so another good run for Kamara. 8 carries for 36 yards so far, and another 1st down. So they made their way into field goal range, so it looks like they have a good shot at cutting this lead. Another inside run for Kamara. Defense is actually double teaming elsewhere. But that gain is stopped. That run is stopped immediately, as in the previous play, the 6-rated centers, 6 rating basically came into play big time, as it gave them a 10-yard pickup on the defensive card. This time it was looking for the guards rating, and as you can see, to the left and to the right of their center, which is rated a 6, and that's Travis Frederick in what will be his last appearance in Stratomatic. He's flanked by weak run-blocking guards, and that definitely affected the play. Had the guard been able to make the play, it would have been a 5-yard pickup. Instead, he stopped for no gain. 2nd and 10, ball to 29. Off-tackle run, this time for Pollard. Defense guesses pass. And that's going to be a huge pickup, so a nice run there, as the defensive end was not able to make that play. Defensive end was a 4. The white die was a 5. And so that's a pickup of 17. And that's good for another 1st down. It's a pass attempt to Keelan Cole. He's not double teamed. Cousins is flush from the pocket, and he will pick up 7 on the play. So a nice pickup there for Kirk Cousins, the real-life Minnesota Viking. I was listening to a radio show tonight that was doing a wrap-up on the NFL, and I was surprised to hear that Kirk Cousins was in the top 5 in yardage per attempt, which was always the complaint of Cousins, that he wasn't able to throw downfield. And especially with the loss of Stephon Diggs, you would have thought that number would have been worse, but he's going to be top 5 next year in yards per attempt. It was even more than Mahomes, as a matter of fact. So I was really stunned. Probably a lot of it had to do with that rookie wide receiver that landed in Minnesota this year. He had an outstanding year. His name is slipping my mind, but he should be a top pick next year as well. Somebody's going to snatch it. This was a real big class for wide receivers, but a lot of them didn't put up a lot of great numbers. So maybe there'll be some 1s and 2s that are going to fall to the 3rd, 4th, and 5th for those who are patient. That draft isn't until September. Off-tackle run to Kamara. Defense guesses pass. This could be something good, but again, the poor run blocking comes into play. It was a white dice 6, so we've been hard-pressed to make that play. But if he had a guard that could have made that play, that would have been a 1st down. Would have been a pickup of 3. It was a line buck attempt. There were 2 linebackers in the zone, which is tough enough already. When you're running that linebacker, you're hoping for that 6 center reading, but it just did not come up here. Well, perhaps that was an off-tackle run. It was off tackle. It was not. So the center reading wouldn't come up there. Or I don't see it anywhere. But with the defense running a 3-4, yeah, that would have put two linebackers in that part too. So yeah, all right. Here's a pitch out to Yeldon on third down. Defense gets his pass again, and Yeldon is going to trot into the end zone for the score. And so just like last week, I believe Yeldon scored 2 touchdowns in that game, and he was very little used very little by the Eagles this season. But that is a terrific drive for the Eagles to put together to narrow this lead to 10-7. Again, these clubs did meet during the regular season, and Philadelphia hung tight in that game as well, losing only 22-17. Houston was on the road in Philadelphia. This time it's reversed as the number 1 seed. Houston will host every playoff game in which they will participate. So if they win tonight, they will either host New England or Tampa next week. Texans will take over at their own 25, 1st and 10. They're up 10-7 with 5:42 to go here in the first half of this divisional round playoff game here in the AFC. Off tackle run to Mixon. Defense gets his pass. 4-yard pickup on the play, 2nd down and 6. Three-four defense here for Philadelphia. They're going to look deep for Scandling again, but that pass is incomplete as the defender was able to make the play with a white die 4. Let's see who was picking him up on that play. So they have a good defense already, and now on this play he was actually guarded by a 5, so just enough. Well, it could have been a 5, and he would have made that play as well. He does have his third cornerback is a 4 up against Sammy Watkins. So he has an average run, but a good pass defense. Brady's in the shotgun, so Fant is in the backfield, so we will not see a run here. Especially with Luke Keechley. He's now left that open. And there's a quick pass, but it's guessed wrong because he vacated his zone there at a 6. He moved his 6 to the left, I believe, actually to the right. So that left the flat pass zone open. And that makes for a 6-yard gain. Having said that, it was 3rd and 6 on Brady's card. That would have been a 7 guessed right. And there's an 11-yard pickup for Mixon. That's his first big pickup of the game. That's 5 carries now for 20 yards. Gus Edwards has been the star of the first half. He has 94 yards. He also had a fumble on the last drive, but Houston was able to recover, and they were able to put 3 on the board. Now they've made their way to the 49-yard line. 3:36 to go, so lots of time here on this drive, all 3 timeouts, obviously. Average run defense, good pass defense for Philadelphia, coached by Dave Szymanski, 9-7 this year. Nose tackle able to make the play. He only needed to be a 4, so he makes the play. So you can see when you don't plug that line, you could be in loads of trouble on those first few rolls, especially, look at that, a 33 and a 12. Nathan not able to take care of that roll, take advantage, I mean. Had it been a 5 or a 6, it would have been a first down. With 3 in the zone, there's a 2nd down pass that is incomplete. It was intended for Fant, who's been a favorite target so far tonight for Brady. 3 of Brady's 5 receptions, as a matter of fact, have gone to Fant, the rookie tight end from Denver. So 3rd and 9 for Brady. That's Ebron at tight end. That's Fant in there again. Now, the Texans were top 4 in sacks. The Eagles were top 10. There's a completion for 12 yards. So Brady gets that over to Patrick, a teammate of Fant in Denver, and they will convert. So now it's first with the ball at the 38 and 2:24 to play. So a big 3rd down conversion. It was right there on Tom Brady's card. There's lots of gaps on that card. That's just a slightly above average guessed right column. But you hope with such a strong running game that you don't have to convert those 3rd downs that are 9, 10, 11 yards that are out of the flat pass realm. And that's why he has such strong runners in Mixon and Edwards, and that's why he's run the ball 500 times this year. So they can put himself in more manageable 3rd downs, but Brady comes through. So one more play here before the half for the Texans that are up 10-7. 2nd down and 8 with the ball at the 36. That's Mixon in there in the I formation. Fant is the blocking back. He's going to go short to Fant. Defender X reading. Defender is not able to make the play, so that's a 16-yard catch. He's defended by a 4, white die 5. So that's another 1st down for the Texans as we've made our way to the 2-minute warning. So Szymanski's going to get this ball back at the half. They're trailing 10-7. Houston moved the ball effectively on their last drive, but they were stopped around this part of the field and had to settle for a field goal. The Eagles would love that here to be basically within reach of a touchdown heading into this half. Here's a pass to Mixon that's caught, 6-yard pickup, 2nd down and 4. Defense now with the 2 minutes have switched over to a 3-3-5. Houston is in the hurry up. Eagles choose not to call timeouts. Yeah, neither team called timeout, no hurry up. So the Eagles can pick the defense that they want here. They went with 3-3-5 last time. They're going to do it again. So they got 4 automatically in the short zone, which means they're going to move that free safety around. They do not have a blitz lined up for this play. So maybe he uses that free safety to double. He has good pass defenders. They're all 5s, basically, with the exception of a 4 defending Fant. So maybe he double teams Fant. He also has a 4 defending Mixon. There's an inside run for Mixon. Defense calls pass. And they will convert another 3rd down. So it's 1st and goal to go from the 9. And now the Eagles will be the first to call a timeout here. So with 1:22 to go, they're going to try to preserve some clock. Barring a turnover, they should get the ball back with about a minute to play if they're able to stop him here on a few plays. A 1:22. Defense, again, 3-3-5, showing blitz. Full house backfield here for Houston. Interesting that they're going 3-3-5. Here is a pitch to Moon. Defense guesses run, and he's stopped. In fact, he loses a yard. No, he gains a yard. Sorry, he gains a yard on that play. Eagles will call another timeout. That leaves them with 1:15. (10-7), Houston on the doorstep here. Already up 3. and looking for more. Full house backfield again, 3-3-5. Showing blitz on this play. Off tackle left, defense gets his pass. That's going to be a pickup of 7, but he's going to be stopped 1 yard short. So when the Eagles choose to call timeout here, they do. So that's a minute 7 to play here in this first half. So 3rd and goal at the 1. You've got 2 backs, both with more than 200 carries for the season, and Brady, who already has rushed for a touchdown here. Do you key on one? You got a 1-3 shot on a key. Defense goes back to the 3-4. I would think they're just going to sell out for the run here. And for Houston, I think this is 4-down territory. I think when you've got these kind of quality backs, they're keying Brady. Edwards is going to trot into the end zone for a score. So a near perfect scenario for Houston as they chew pretty much nearly all of the clock, leaving Philadelphia very little to play with here in the first half. And they extend their lead 17-7 over the Eagles. So it looks like this one's going to be locked up, so we'll have to jump back into the game after we log back in. They still have not fixed that bug. And so we'll hop back into it here. All the 25, that's a pickup of, well, it's a pickup of a first down, and he was able to get out of bounds, so we've missed a couple of plays. That's a pass for 12. From Kirk Cousins now with the ball at the 37. They got a lot of work to do and not a lot of time to do it. Here's a pitch to Pollard, hoping he can get out of bounds, and he's going to get a big carry on this play. He is not able to get out of bounds, but they are now in field goal range. So let's see what that was. That was guessed wrong, and a 44-yard pickup, so a huge break for Philadelphia with the ball resting at the 19, but they do not have a timeout left, so they really don't have much time to do hardly anything with this, and a sack would be a killer here, but they're going to maybe take a shot at the end zone. It's pretty rough when you don't have timeouts left here, and you've got a team that is fully capable of sacking Kirk Cousins. Again, the number 4 leading sack team in the league. I got that right tackle 3 as well on an 8. Let's see if Nathan starts to bring some people and maybe take a shot at taking Cousins down. I believe he can go deep here and take a shot at it. There's a pitch to Pollard. He only picks up 1. He is able to get out of bounds. That's going to leave 8 seconds left, so I can't imagine Dave doing anything else here but kicking this, because after this play, I don't think that you can spike it and have a second left. I'm still learning the clock rules on here. It's a little wonky. But I know in real life you shouldn't be able to run a play, stop the clock, and still have a second left. That's nearly impossible. So I would think he's just going to leave McManus on the field. Well, they're going to try. Interesting. Okay, so maybe they're just going to try a deep shot here. Defense calling blitz. Wow, this is So he's giving up the shot at a 35-yarder here. If this is in the field of play, again, maybe somebody can correct me here, but I don't know that they can spike this ball. You hate the opportunity to get this far down the field with a great run from Pollard to not be able to take advantage with a field goal. Now, an incomplete pass will leave 1 second left. But if Houston brings any level of heat, maybe they're going to try to throw deep, but I believe 2 men are automatically in the zone on a play like that. So there's a crossing pattern pass to Devin Smith, and there is a sack. So will Philadelphia be able to get a kick here? I don't know. We'll have to wait to see, but I don't think they can. But again, I'm still a little sketchy on the clock rolls. And that is it. So the worst case scenario for Philadelphia as they try a crossing pattern pass to Devin Smith, I believe. But Houston's pass rush comes through and may very well have taken 3 points off the board. So they're going to take a 2 or 3 minute break here. We'll go to the box score. So in the first half, Houston on their first possession drove the length of the field, culminated and scored a touchdown culminated by a Tom Brady 3-yard run. They extended their lead on a four-bath field goal from 35 yards out at the opening few minutes of the second quarter. Philadelphia was able to get on the board with a very nice lengthy drive, capped off by a 5-yard touchdown run for TJ Yeldon. And here, just before the end of the half, Gus Edwards, a 1-yard touchdown run that gave the Eagles the Texans a 17-7 lead. Eagles drove the length of the field here, but was sacked as time expired in the half, so they were not able to put any points on the board, but they will get the ball here at the second half. So their offense has been kind of iffy so far, this being the Philadelphia Eagles. 7 points here in the first half to Houston 17. Cousins only 6 pass attempts, 3 completions. Tom Brady, on the other hand, 8 completions out of 14. Lots of dinks, lots of dunks, no big plays. Valdez-Scantling, he's looked for him a couple of times on a guess wrong card, as a matter of fact, but was not able to connect. Kamara has 42 yards on 11 carries. Pollard has 62 yards on 4 carries, but one of those was on a 44-yard run in the waning seconds of the first half. On the opposite side, Gus Edwards has been the star. He has 1 touchdown run, 103 yards on 12 attempts. His big run was 21 yards. His understudy, Joe Mixon, 9 carries for 39 yards, an 11-yard run included. Nothing big from the receivers here. The main receiver for Houston, 4 receptions for 47 yards for rookie Noah Fant. That sack, by the way, just before the end of the half, that was Melvin Ingram, who had 9 on the year. Houston had over 40 sacks on the season that put them in the top 4 of the league. So with an average pass defense, you kind of have to make your own breaks, and that's how Houston does it, with an aggressive pass rush. So again, our score is 17-7, but Philadelphia will get the ball here to begin the second half. This is game 2 of the 4 divisional playoffs here for Autumn Wind 2020-21. In a couple of weeks, we will crown the 17th champion of Autumn Wind. In its electronic version, it has been in existence for 17 years, but the league in its entirety dates back to, I believe, 1969. There's a lot of legacy coaches who have been in the league for a considerable amount of time, including some from the onset back in the late 60s. It's one of the premier Stratomatic football leagues and one of the longest running Stratomatic football leagues in the country. It is a 30-team keeper league. So it is a draft league. We have an annual draft every September. The way the league runs, this is the 2021 season, 2020 season, if you want to call it that. We're capping off a champion here in 2021. But we play with the cards from the previous year. So when we have a draft this summer, this upcoming summer, it will be with the 2020 card stats and the defensive cards as well. So there's another run, and there's a big run for Pollard. No, this is Kamara this time. So both Pollard and Kamara on end runs have hit that 12, and that's a big, big number for both. For Pollard, it was a 44-yard run, and for Kamara, it was a 40-yard run. So in less than a minute, Philadelphia has made their way into Houston territory with the ball resting at the 34. Kamara back at it again. On that play, he only picks up a yard. It was guessed wrong once again. So Kamara with a pretty chunky card there. You got a nice short gain there at 7, but lots of little rinky-dink runs. Actually, that's not bad to get a yard on that 5, which usually is a 0 for most cards. He's got a short gain up at the top on there. There's your 5. So that was guessed wrong, and that went to Pollard. So that's your typical 5, is a no gain. So bad luck there. Good luck, and then bad luck on 2 straight rolls for Szymanski. And so now it's 3rd and 9 at the Texans 33. We're just underway here in the 3rd quarter of the second of 4 divisional playoff games. This is the first of 2 AFC games. Tomorrow night we will see New England play Tampa Bay. New England was able to come from behind against New Orleans over the weekend in a thriller, won on a 2-point conversion with under 2 minutes to play. There's a sideline pattern pass to Cole. He successfully double-teamed on that play. That puts 2 men in the zone. And for the 3rd consecutive roll, he rolls a 5. So now with 4th and 9, this is Brandon McManus, who's going to try to put a 50-yarder through the pipes, and he does. So the Eagles have cut it to a touchdown now, 10-7. So fortunately, the animation didn't kick us out. Instead, we'll just pick this up right here, 1st and 10 with the ball at the 25. So the Eagles have narrowed the score to a single touchdown. 12 minutes to go, 3rd quarter, 17-10. Texans, the number 1 seed, 15-1. There were 2 clubs this year in Autumn Wind with 15 wins. That's Houston and Seattle, who advanced yesterday with a win over Joe Golden and the 9-6-1 regular season New York Giants. Joe Golden, one of 3 expansion coaches this year. Golden coaches in a lot of leagues throughout the stratosphere, but this was his first in Autumn Wind and a great first season. Interestingly, the 3 clubs that drafted basically took over for 3 franchises that were vacated last year. So they basically draft their entire rosters, then they will draft in the regular draft like all of us do, all of the coaches do, but they're not able to make trades. So you're a little hamstrung. You're almost always going to have some deficiencies on your club. There's a deep shot for Brady, and that pass is incomplete. He's got completions on 9 and 10. He dials up a 5 there, so that pass is incomplete. He was looking for Noah Fant. Baylor likes to use that blocking back to throw deep to him, especially when you've got guys who are trying to cover him that are a 0. So Mario Addison has checked into the game. He is a elite pass rusher. Let's see if he brings some heat here. 3rd and 5. So Brady is under center, so any run is in play for Mixon. Could we see a toss sweep here? That outside linebacker is a 4-4, so that's a possibility. Addison is a 0-0. That's a possibility, but I would think he may bring Addison up, and maybe we'll see that free safety slip over into Addison's spot. And that's exactly what happens here. So there's a quick out to Fant. Defense guesses run. Addison was the cover guy for Fant, and so that pass wrong on Brady's card and the receiver card. Unfortunately, some bad luck there for Houston, as he wasn't defended by anybody, but he caught a blank on his receiver card, and so the Eagles catch a nice break there. That would have moved the chains for sure. So Addison was blitzing, and they decided instead of having the free safety, it didn't look like he was covering Noah Fant. Instead, he chose to move that guy up into the flat pass zone. So a good call. He just didn't get the good result. 12-yard pickup on the play for Kamara now with 95 yards rushing. He already has a 40-yard run in the early stages of this third quarter. Just 5 minutes into the third here, Houston is up 17-10. 5-yard pickup for Kamara, as now he has gone over 100 for the afternoon. Well, it's late afternoon in the Pacific. Well, I guess now it's made its way to probably 6:30 in the Pacific, but here it's 9:30. We live in the Midwest here around the Kentucky, Ohio, West Virginia area, and we are looking at an ice storm tonight. So batten down the hatches. There's a flat pass, white dice 6, which means 0 men in the zone. So a nice pickup of 13 on the play. That's Kirk Cousins' 8th attempt of the game. Kyle Juszczyk, the recipient of that catch, he picks up 13 on the play, his second reception of the game. And the Eagles have the ball at their own 43, trailing by 7. There's a run that picks up very little, only 2. Dave Szymanski, 9-7. Lifetime winning percentage in autumn wind of 65%. So even when you look at a matchup of 15-1 over 9-7 on paper, it doesn't look like much of a matchup. I mean, you can see the possibility for a blowout, certainly a win for Houston, but not when you're matching wits against a coach like Szymanski, who's been around the block a time or two. There is a nice gain on the play. Nose tackle not able to make the play. And that was a run for Pollard. So with the benefit of a couple of chunky 40-plus yard runs, the Saints now have run the ball for over 171 yards combined between Pollard and Kamara, and a little bit of running, I guess, from TJ Yeldon. So they may be actually closer to 180. Here's the quick pass to Juszczyk. Guessed right. That's a gain of 5. So the Eagles have made their way into Houston territory. With some huge breaks here as far as runs are concerned. Now, the first one, just before the half, they were unable to capitalize. With 8 seconds to go and no timeouts, they chose to go for it rather than kicking a field goal. And Cousins was sacked, and they were unable to stop the clock. So they may have left 3 points on the board, but they've been looking really good in their last 2 drives. There's a quick pass over to Yeldon. A man was in the zone. It's only a pickup of 3. And so that'll bring up 3rd and 2. .636 to go. The number 5 seed Philadelphia Eagles from the Walsh division. Bill Walsh division. Up against the 15-1 Chuck Noll division champion Houston Texans, coached by Nathan Baylor. Here's a deep shot for Fuller, and a great instincts there as Nathan double teams Fuller. And this is going to bring up a quandary here. So 4th and 2, I think it's an easy decision. I think that Szymanski will go for it, but obviously there is risk here. If he doesn't hit on this, Nathan's going to have some excellent field position. So Nathan's got that average pass defense, but he does have the benefit of running a 3-4, so he can flood some zones. There's a pass for Hunter Henry, defense double teaming elsewhere. It's on Cousins' card, defensive rating, and he is able to make the play. So the defender, White Die 6, is able to make the play, as we haven't seen Hunter Henry's name called very much in this contest. He's able to make the play, and the ball goes back over to Houston. So they're able to stop that drive. I wanted to see on that play. I thought he was double teaming elsewhere. He may have actually double teamed Henry. I'm sorry, I just didn't catch that play by play. So he may have actually double teamed him on that play. If he did, that would be 2 consecutive double teams. Off tackle run for Edwards. 3rd down and 6. So the Eagles turn the ball over on downs, but they've got the opportunity to get this ball back if they can get Houston off the field. 3 wide set. Brady is under center, so Mixon's run here, he could do a lot of things. Now, in this case, it looks like they're not going to bring Addison onto the field to 0-0. Instead, Szymanski will keep that 4 on the field, and that's Sean Lee from the Cowboys. The other 4 is KJ Wright, and he is guarding Mixon right now. And, of course, you got Luke Keechley there in the middle. So maybe we see that 5 go into one of those flats, or maybe we see that 5 double team. Maybe Ebron, who's actually switched out to a wideout now. So you've got Noah Fant there on the line. Ebron also is a wideout. There's a pitch right, but he only picks up 4 on the play. That was on the defensive card. So now it's 4th and 2 for Nathan, and now he has an interesting decision. With the ball at the 46, does he believe that his club can get the 2 yards to maintain this drive, or is he going to give the ball back to the Eagles? It's a tough call here, especially when you've got 2 great running backs and an excellent flat pass quarterback in Tom Brady. It would be gutsy, but it wouldn't be surprising to see him go for it here. But if you miss out, wow, give the Eagles a very short field. So he's going to trust his defense. He's going to kick this one away. Here comes the punt. He's going to go ahead and try to sideline kick this. Doesn't go very far. And it goes out of bounds at the 21, so he's not even able to pin him inside that 20. But he did catch 30 yards of field position on that play. So now the Eagles, again, will take over 17-10. They've been pretty decent at moving the ball, but they've turned the ball over twice. Well, that's not entirely accurate. They've had the ball twice in Houston territory in their last couple of possessions, but they've been unable to capitalize. The first on a time ran out of them on the first half, and in the second half they went for it on 4th and 2, the ball at the 38, and we were unable to convert, I believe, on the heels of a successful double team by Baylor on a pass that was intended for Hunter Henry. Here's an off-tackle run for Pollard. Defense is double teaming a couple of other receivers, and this is going to be a nice pickup for Pollard, so that's a gain of 13. So Pollard on the regular season was the understudy for Kamara. He did have a pretty good season, though. The start of the game, and the last game, actually, I believe, was Yeldon, who scored 2 touchdowns, if I recall, and was very little used during the regular season, but he got a pretty substantial amount of carries in the last game. This game here, we've just seen him in short yardage situation. Here's a pass to Juszczyk. It is incomplete on Cousins' card. Cousins is his card. 2nd down and 10, ball at the 45-yard line. 2:24 to go here, third quarter. Eagles trailing by 7. The first of 2 AFC divisional playoff games. Tomorrow night, Tampa Bay hosts the New England Patriots. Seattle Seahawks already have defeated the New York Giants. They have the number 1 seed in the NFC. They will take on the winner of Los Angeles and Dallas this weekend. There's a nice pickup again. 10 yards as the center's 6 comes into play. He only needed to be a 4 on that play, so he was easily able to make that block. That's Travis Frederick. So they flipped 45s. Ball now resting at the Texans' 45. Less than 2 minutes to go on a running clock. Eagles trailing by 7. Here's a flat pass. It's a pickup of 4. And that one goes to Kamara. That's his first reception of the game. Only 40 receptions on the year for Kamara. In fact, Juszczyk, his backfield mate, had 60 catches, more than 60. Game is moving briskly as both coaches are calling plays relatively quickly. 2nd and 6 from the Houston Texans 41. Cousins under center with Juszczyk, and now Yeldon has checked into the game. And there is an inside run for Yeldon. Defense guesses run. It's not on Yeldon's card, but he fumbles the ball on this play. But he's able to scoop it up. So a loss of 1. Linebacker was in the zone on that play. 3rd down. Now it's 3rd and 6. As we come to the end of the 3rd quarter. That's funny. It says end of quarter, but yet the scoreboard still says 36 seconds to go. I was reading the play-by-play. That's strange. Well, regardless, 3 wide sets. That's Yeldon again in the backfield. And there's a screen to Yeldon, and he picks up 5. So the Eagles are right back where they started from, although this is a little bit easier of a conversion. On their last go-around, it was 4th and 2 at the 38. Now it's 4th and 1 with the ball at the 35. So this is a 52-yard field goal attempt for McManus, who has a great leg. He's the Denver Broncos kicker. But you have to think Szymanski's going to probably try to convert this 4th and 1. As now we have officially come to the end of the 3rd quarter. So now we got a pro set offense. If I remember correctly, Juszczyk's card is not as good as it usually is. No, not really. He's not much of a runner. So I don't know that he's going to be an option here. And that is Yeldon in the backfield. So he's eschewing Kamara and Pollard for Yeldon, who must have a decent guest right card. Is he decent out of the backfield? If only I had Tom Cook's memory for how these cards look. Is a photographic memory when it comes to this, and also card readings too. He calls such a great game. 4th and 1, ball the 35-yard line. Defense in the 3-3-5 here. Off of that pro set. So there's a pass for Henry. Defense guesses run. And it's the interception split, but fortunately, no stranger danger here. It's a 12-yard pickup and a 1st down. So Hunter Henry was targeted on the last 4th down and was unable to convert. This time, they are able to convert. That interception split is on the defensive card. 3 men in the zone. And that'll move the chains. So here's a deep shot for Devin Smith. Defense is double teaming Henry or Henry. It's on Devin Smith's car, but the pass falls incomplete. And it's now second down. So I think Devin Smith, maybe he's got that fluky card. Yeah, he's got a real weird card. 5 passes caught for the year for 113 yards, and he gets a card like this. That is a very, very fluky card and a very dangerous card. Guess wrong. 2nd and 10. He averaged, no surprise, he averaged over 20 yards a catch for the Eagles this year. That's Pollard. Guess wrong, but he only picks up 3. And it's now 3rd and 7 from the 21. So near automatic field goal range here for McManus. But they're trailing by 7, so this would be a big conversion if Kirk Cousins can come through. That was the 9th carry for Pollard, 97 yards for Pollard, so it looks like there's a good chance that the Eagles are going to have 2 running backs with over 100 yards. They're turning back the clock to the 70s. Although I don't think the Saints had running backs capable, two at the same time running for 100 yards back in the 70s. I can remember Tony Galbraith. There's a deep shot for Devin Smith. Defense guesses pass. They're double teaming Fuller. So they've left the zone open, and there it is. Devin Smith for a touchdown. 0 men in zone, long gain on that average defensive card, and the Eagles are an extra point conversion away from knotting the score, which they do. So a great drive for Szymanski, and this game is knotted up at 17. So the number 1 seed is facing a real legitimate challenge here from the number 5 seed veteran coach Dave Szymanski. 9-7 in the regular season. A win on the road against Tim Bowler and the Oakland Raiders in the wild card round. So 10-7 overall for the year. And again, they did play a close one very early in the season, game 2, in fact. Houston was able to pull it out 22-17 on the road in Philadelphia. There's a pickup of 5 on the play for Mixon. Lots of carries left for him. 13 carries, 43 yards. Shouldn't be an issue at all for Mixon. Got a ways to go before he's unfatigued. So we won't be seeing that here in the fourth quarter. It will not be a factor. There's an inside run for Mixon, and he's going to pick up some big yards there. 19 on that chunk play. Boxcar's in effect. And so on that 19-yard pickup and first down, and the ball now rests at the 49. So Houston off to a fast start on this drive as they are now tied with the Eagles, who are pitching a shutout here in the second half. They've outscored them 10-0. There's another run for Mixon. 15 carries now for 64 yards. It's a pickup of 2. Average run defense for Philadelphia, a good pass defense. Second and 8. 501 total carries for Houston this year, second in the league. Seattle with 518. This team loves to run. Both running backs, both feature backs, Mixon and Edwards with 200 runs apiece. A deep shot there that falls incomplete. That one was intended for Valdez-Scantling, who does not have a catch today. Averaged 25 yards a catch this year, 1,300 total yards. I believe he was acquired with a trade with the Dallas Cowboys before the year. So everybody loves this setup so that they've at least got one guy who's a 5 or 6 deep. It's necessary to keep the defense honest. But the Eagles left a man in the zone there. Let's see. So they do not bring Addison in on this play. They'll stay with their 4s on the outside. Eagles able to get 23 sacks on the year. That's a guessed wrong play. Wow. Guessed wrong short on the flat pass, but the pass falls incomplete. That'll bring up 4th down and 8, and they will punt. And the Eagles will take over. So 10.5 to go. So the Eagles, who were trailing 17-7 at the half, have scored 10 consecutive points. There's a flare to Juszczyk. It's good for 8 yards. Guessed right. So nice play by Juszczyk there to pick up some big yards. 2nd down and 2. 9:54 on a running clock. All knotted up at 17. The winner will move on to the final 4. Specifically, the final 2, the conference championship, and will take on either the New England Patriots or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Second and 2, screen pass for Yeldon. Defense guesses run. It's guessed wrong, and Yeldon picks up 14 and makes his way to the 36-yard line. 1st down, 9:18. Moving clock, 4th quarter. Game is knotted up at 17. Suminski and his Eagles, 10 points here in the second half, have knotted the score against the number 1 seed. There's a flare pass for Juszczyk. Again, defense guesses run. And this is a short gain and a pickup of 16 on the play for Juszczyk. So that short gain, it would have been right or wrong. It would have been a short gain on Kirk Cousins' card. Usually that's that 3 that we see on a lot of cards. Short gain, right or wrong. And so they've made their way to midfield. In fact, they've now traversed midfield. They are at the Houston 49. 8:42 to go. A button hook for Kamara. There's nobody in the zone, so Kamara is going to make that play as well. That's guessed wrong. And that is a 11-yard pickup. There was nobody there in the zone. But again, that was a 3, so it would have been right or wrong. It would have been a short gain. So good fortune there for the Eagles. That's a 1st and 10 play. 2 men in the zone that time, and the pass falls incomplete. So the ball is at the 38. So it's a little outside McManus's ideal range. And this has been where Philadelphia has struggled. Although the last drive, they were able to convert on a 4th and 1 in this 30s range, but they also missed out on a 4th and 2. There's an off-tackle run for Pollard. Defense guesses pass, and the dreaded 5 comes up, and that's a 0. So this is going to be a very tough conversion, and it'll be an interesting choice here for the Eagles. Do they just try to pick up some yards, maybe a flat pass, so they put McManus in a good position? It likely will not be a run. In fact, it won't be a run. Cousins is in the shotgun, and that's Kyle Juszczyk. They won't run him. They got a 3-wide set, so they have stretched out Houston to their 3-3-5. There's a 5, a 4, and a 0. He does have a 6 back, which, again, that makes that effective, so perhaps he brings this 0 up. Maybe he floods that zone, as a matter of fact. So let's see what that free safety does. Maybe he brings Chicolito up, although, so Juszczyk would be guarded here by the 5, I believe. That's right. So Chicolito does not have coverage responsibilities. Let's see if he moves him up just to add a little bit of heat. He does not. Instead, he's going to double Kyle Juszczyk. Great call. It's going to be a quick pass over to Juszczyk. He's double teamed, and he's able to make the catch anyway, so 5 yards. So that's going to give McManus the shot here at a 50-yard field goal. Although Suminski's thinking about it, maybe this is 4-down territory for him. Maybe he tries to convert here. But if I recall, McManus is pretty we won't see the card. We'll have to wait. And I believe the variable field goal range here is in effect. So it's possible he could skip a number down, I believe. We shall see. He's going to try it. McManus is going to kick it, and it is going to fall short. So McManus had a shot at this, a real good shot, in fact, 2 through 9. But the kick falls short on a 10. So a bad break for Szymanski. He catches an excellent break on a double team pass that picks up 5 yards. And now Houston is definitely in business with good field position at the 40 and 6:18 to go. So Philadelphia is going to have to put on their thinking cap. There's an inside run, but he only picks up 2 on the play. So Szymanski's breathing a sigh of relief there. 2nd down and 8, 5:42 to go. Szymanski's so close to taking the lead there. 2017 just missed by a whisker on a field goal that would have given him a lead. And instead, he's back on his heels again to this Houston team that was 15-1 on the season, getting everything they can handle from the Eagles. Here's a pass to Fant, and that pass is going to fall incomplete with only 3 men in the zone. That's the interception split reading. Interception on 2 through 5. So with the 7, it falls harmlessly to the turf, and it's now 3rd and 8. So a huge play for both of these clubs. A conversion here extends the drive for the Oilers, good grief, Texans. Eagles want to get this ball back. They've thrown a shutout here in the second half. This Houston team scored 431 during the regular season. So averaging about 26 points a game, I believe, 25 maybe. And so they've been held to 17 so far. So shotgun here, we've seen this a lot. Noah Fant in the backfield. He's guarded by a 4 now. They're not going to put that 0 in. Going to look deep for Sammy Watkins, and the pass is going to fall incomplete. And so the Eagles are going to get the ball back here with 5:06 to go. That's a much better kick. That one's going to sail into the end zone. They'll let that one drop. Yeah. So we got locked up. When that ball sails into the end zone, the game locks. So we got to jump back in. I'll try to do it as quickly as we can so we don't lose any plays. $24,803. Okay, back at it. We missed that first play. Here's an off-tackle run for Tony Pollard. Defense guesses pass. Pollard's able to take it over the middle and pick up 5 on the play, so now it's 3rd and 5. Running clock here, 3:54. Eagles, obvious underdog in this game, have been hanging tough. Szymanski's called a great game, had some nice breaks from big chunky runs. No real difference in turnovers except for going for it on 4th down, so we haven't seen any fluke picks, fumbles. The fumbles have been recovered by their own team, so there really hasn't been anything crazy. No huge turnover that's a backbreaker for each one of these clubs. 3rd and 5, crossing pattern to Cole. Defense is double teaming elsewhere. It looks like Fuller. So his cousin's going to be able to make this play. It's to Cole, but it's on Cole's card and it's incomplete. So Houston will get the ball back with decent time here with around 3.5 to go. It's a kick that's going to travel 50 yards, so they're able to flip the field ball, received at the 25. So 3:18 to go here in the 4th quarter. That's Mixon in the game. Defense in the 3-4. Average run, good pass defense. So Brady's had a pretty quiet day so far. Now we're looking for Moon on it. Jamario Moon. Everybody remember him, the basketball player from Miami Heat and Cleveland Cavaliers? It's Joe Mixon. Pickup of 1. Oklahoma, I believe. Real life Cincinnati Bengal, who was injured this year. He's been healthy pretty much throughout his career in Cincinnati, so he took one on the chin. Bengals had some major injuries this year. A.J. Green, who seems always to be injured, Mixon, and, of course, their rookie quarterback, Joe Burrow. Hopefully he can bounce back next year. Off-tackle run, guessed wrong, picked up a 5 on the play, so that was Gus Edwards. Guessed wrong. Look at that. 7 short gain, 8 short gain, 9 short gain, and he just happened to find the wrong number. 2:06 to go. Houston is not calling timeout here. Three wide set. This will be a pass, no doubt, as Brady is in the backfield along with tight end Noah Fant. Now, Fant this time, I believe, is guarded by, at first it was a 0, but they've changed out, and so he's going to be guarded by a 4 here. So you don't expect them to bring much heat. Good, not great offensive line here. 3-3-5. Let's see, who is that matchup on this side? Yeah, not really much. That's Ndamukong Suh on the outside. So he's going up against a 4. Looking for Valdez Scantling, and that pass is incomplete. He was looking deep. Scantling, no catches today, 1,300 yards on the year. So the Eagles are going to get the ball back. They have all 3 timeouts left. Houston was only able to move the ball for 2 yards. And that's another pedestrian kick, but they're not able to field it. So they are able to successfully flip the field. Now with the ball resting at the 24, 1st and 10 for the Eagles. 1:52 to go. Kamara and Pollard, both of them have 100 yards rushing on the day. He has 1 unfatigued carry left, which doesn't necessarily mean he'll stop running. It's just he's going to be less effective. There's a flare to Kyle Juszczyk. Defense is double teaming 2 wide receivers here. So there's 0 men in the zone, and that'll be a pickup of 13 on the play. And so the Eagles are deciding whether to call timeout here. They will not. And instead we're going to get a new package out there. Let's see. So they didn't call timeout at all, and they kept the same team out there. So I'm surprised they didn't go to the hurry up, maybe. 2nd down and 10, ball to 30. 1st and 10, ball to 37. As I'm broadcasting next to a window here, and I hear some frozen rain hitting the pane. I got a call tonight. There's a crossing pattern pass to Devin Smith that is incomplete. I got a call tonight from Appalachian Electric Power. It was a preemptive call, letting us know that there is an expected accumulation of frozen rain tonight. It's going to get real cold tonight, and there's a real possibility that we could see some power outages. You don't often see that preemptive call, but things to be prepared for, charging up your phone. Off-tackle run for Pollard. Guessed right. Defense guesses run. Nice call by Houston. They will not call timeout here. So with 45 seconds left to go, and the ball at the 37, this is going to be a tough conversion. You think that maybe we're going to see some heat here brought by Houston. They only have 1 sack in the game. They're not showing blitz. So maybe Nathan just stays with his standard 3-3-5, keeps that free safety at bay, just a lot of stand-around defense. Or maybe we'll see a double team on Fuller. There's a pass to Fuller. He's double teaming 2 other players. And that's a curl pass. And it's caught, so they convert on 3rd down. And he's able to make his way out of bounds, I believe. It looked like he did. No, he did not. Then Philadelphia will use one of those 3 timeouts. So there's 37 seconds to go. Again, McManus has a big leg. But they're going to need another 20 yards basically to make it happen. To give him a decent shot. Or at least, let's see, maybe to the 35, so 16 yards. So they got to get at least 1 first down here. but that's a good start. So 4 men in the zone, the white die 5 pops up, and they were unable to make the play. So here's the last run unfatigued for Kamara, and he's going to pick up 11 on the play on the defensive card on an off-tackle run. Now they'll burn another timeout here, and this will knock it down to 30. Now the last time Szymanski was looking for a field goal, he ran out of time because he didn't have any timeouts left, and he decided instead of kicking a field goal with 8 seconds to go, he got caught up and going for one more play, and instead he was sacked, and they probably left 3 points on the field there. But they're looking for redemption. So with 30 seconds left to go, let's see. I believe the last attempt was a 50-yard attempt. So they got it down to the 33, and they had a 2 through 9 split on McManus. Now that may have been due to maybe they gave him a little bit of yards with that field goal split. I'm not really sure. I didn't see the play-by-play, and it's not something that's easily revealed. That's usually when I have a Dennis Crowley here, or Nathan. He can see those numbers a little bit better than I can and can give me an indication of whether or not that was a legitimate kick on the card or if we got the benefit of the variable field goal. So 1 timeout remaining for Philadelphia, so they got to be a little careful with this. But that end run is in play, trying to get out of bounds, maybe another flat pass. Defense 3-4. Maybe Nathan floods some zones here. Maybe he brings Chicolito up and gets rid of that end run for Pollard. There is a pass to Pollard. Defense guesses pass. They brought a man up to support for the run. The pass is incomplete on Pollard's card. He has a lousy guessed right card. But maybe he was anticipating a blitz, perhaps. But even guessed wrong, that would have been a no gain. So 2nd down and 10. 22 seconds to go. So the rain's starting to come down a little bit harder here. It's going to be some tough sledding tomorrow. At least that's what the forecast says. But AEP has already let us know about trucks are already out getting ready for potential for downed power lines. Here is a pitch to Pollard. Defense guesses pass, but the dreaded 0, and that leads to a 1-yard loss, and I don't believe he got out of bounds. I think he got to him before he got out of bounds. So he'll have to burn this time out. And he will. So that'll leave 15 seconds. So now they do not have a timeout remaining. My iPad is running out of gas. Let's see if I can check out the ratings here real quick. Maybe I can figure out if McManus can kick this far away. My iPad ran out just when I found McManus's name. I was sliding it over to see his longest kick, and I just missed it by 2 seconds. So 3 wide set. But here's the other problem. It's 3rd down. So again, the clock is always so confusing to me. In real life, there's no way that if a play is stopped in the middle of the field with 15 seconds left to go, that you should be able to rush your field goal kicking unit on there to kick a field goal. I mean, it's not impossible, but it's nearly impossible to pull off a perfect play like this. A play is going to take about 8 seconds, and to get your players on the field with 8 seconds, I can't see that happening. But we'll see. Here's a crossing pattern pass to Cole. And he completes it, and it's a pickup of 12. He is not able to get out of bounds. So will they be able to run more and more play from here, or can they kill the clock? If he is able to get a field goal attempt, it will be from 46 yards away. It looks like they will. They will line up for a field goal attempt for the win. So we're going to block this kickoff right here. We'll just see if it's good or not. We'll just watch the animation. So McManus from 46 to pull off the upset victory. The kick is up, and it is good, and the Eagles have sprung the upset on the road against the Houston Texans with a final score of 20-17. So it was good no matter what, actually. A 2 through 9 was good, and that was a 2, so that was straight through, a 3, so that was straight through the pipe. So break up the Philadelphia Eagles, the number 5 seed, on the road against the Oakland Raiders with a convincing win, and here with a come-from-behind win, scoring 13 points in the second half, including 3 on the game's final play from McManus to beat the number 1 seed Houston Texans. A very, very good game from both teams, but Szymanski called an excellent game in the second half. Not a lot of rolls for Baylor in the second half. A lot of those runs, guessed wrong, wound up on the dreaded 5, unable to convert. Some of those third downs where those runs would be good and you could get flat passes out of them, they were short passes. And against a good pass defense, which is what the Eagles have, and Brady does not have a really super sharp guessed right short pass card, it basically led to this. And Valdez-Scantling, who, again, a 25-yard per catch average, they looked for him deep several times, but they were unable to make the connection. And so while on paper it looked like a mismatch, especially you've got a 15-1, hosting a 9-7, Szymanski, both these two guys are great coaches. We could play this game and it could end up in any variety of combinations, but Szymanski is a very, very good coach. Everybody admits that. Everybody recognizes that. And he's got a quality club. In fact, Nathan had said coming into this game in another broadcast that he felt really strongly that this team looked way better than 9-7. And when you watch them, they are better than 9-7. You got a good pass defense, that gives you a chance. Cousins has a good card, that gives you a chance. Kamara's got a quality card, that gives you a chance. That Devin Smith crazy card, who caught a touchdown pass in this game long. He finally dialed up long distance and found Devin Smith. He's got weapons on this team, there's no doubt. He's got an offensive line that's a little suspect from a run blocking perspective, and from a run defending perspective on defense, again, kind of suspect. But he was able to coach around it tonight and did an absolutely fantastic job in this contest. Really, really well coached for both of these teams. So we'll check in a little bit to see if either one of them want to come in at the end of this broadcast to talk. So there's your final score. We went over the first half. There you go. In the second half, 13 unanswered points for Philadelphia. On their opening drive, they notched a 50-yard field goal by Brandon McManus. Both teams exchanged punts, and it wasn't until the beginning of the fourth quarter that Philadelphia hit. There it is. There's that Devin Smith. It was a 21-yard bomb, but basically a 21-yard catch. And so that knotted the game up at 17. And then on the game's last play, 46-yard field goal from the real-life Denver Bronco, Brandon McManus. Again, interestingly enough, just before the half, we keep mentioning this, but the Eagles had a chance to cut the 17-7 lead to 17-10, but Houston dialed up a blitz and was able to sack Philadelphia, and they left 3 points on the field, and you wondered if that was going to come back to haunt them, especially on this last drive. But a big conversion on third down on a pass to Keelan Cole from Kirk Cousins, and they were able to get one more play out of it. So I guess somehow they got on the field. They were able to spike the ball with 1 second left to go. Cousins at the half only had 6 attempts, but in the second half, 27 pass attempts. So he finished 19 of 33 for 189 yards, 1 touchdown. Tom Brady, on the other hand, 8 of 21 for only 79 yards. And the numbers that you see there for the running numbers that you see, Gus Edwards, those 100 yards was in the first half. In the second half, he was held pretty much in check. And Mixon just wasn't able to get it going. Didn't see a lot of big gains from him. But you see the inflated numbers there for Kamara and Pollard, and both of them have a lot to do with the fact that both had rushes, you can see there, of 40 yards and 44 yards. From a receiving perspective, You've got Juszczyk, who had a lot of nice catches in the second half, some converting for first down, 7 catches for 59 yards. He was the second leading receiver on the year for the club. Hunter Henry was the leading receiver with 100 yards, 100 catches this year. He did have 3 during the contest. The main target for Brady, Noah Fant, 4 catches for 47 yards. And again, notoriously absent on this spreadsheet here, Valdez-Scantling, 1,300 yards receiving in the year, held in check, no catches, no yards. So that is your final score, 20-17, a very, very well-coached ball game for both of these clubs. But Philadelphia, the 9-7 wild card, is moving on to the championship, and so they will play on the road, depending on what happens tomorrow night between New England and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So congratulations to him at 10-7, and congratulations again to Nathan Baylor. A bitter pill, obviously, at 15-1, but as he has said, anything can happen in any of these games, especially when you're running into good quality coaches. You never know. It's just a great thing to make the playoffs, but it is a little disappointing at 15-1, I'm sure, but nothing to hang his hat on. He's an excellent coach. It's his 9th season, and he's made the playoffs 6 times, double-digit wins in the last 5 seasons. He definitely will be back next year. Definitely will be back next year. He's got a quality club. This team will be a factor next year and for years to come, I'm sure. But tonight, this one belongs to Dave Szyminski. So congratulations to you, Dave, and you will move on, and we will cover that playoff game sometime next week. We'll see who your opponent is tomorrow night as New England travels to Tampa Bay, the number 2 seed. And also this weekend, we will watch Dallas, 13-3, take on the Los Angeles Rams, who are making their first ever playoff appearance in Autumn Wind. And that's a team that's coached by me. That's my first playoff appearance in 5 seasons. So we're real excited about that. Dennis Crowley will call that game this Saturday afternoon. I believe it's 5 p.m. So again, thank you very much for joining us. We will see if anybody – doesn't look like anybody will be here. So we flew solo this time. I enjoyed it very much. Would love it when more people can come and join. But in this case here, I guess everybody's schedule got a little mixed up. But I hope that you enjoyed. If you watched it on YouTube and streamed it, I hope you enjoyed the broadcast. And if you were listening, I hope that you enjoyed it. It was a great game. It was a clinic by 2 of the best coaches that we have in this league. So your final score, Philadelphia 20, Houston 17 in this Autumn Wind 2020-2021 divisional matchup. We've played 2 now. Seattle has defeated the New York Giants, so they will take on the winner of Los Angeles and Dallas this weekend. And the winner of Tampa and New England tomorrow will be the destination for the Philadelphia Eagles. Congratulations to Dave Szyminski. Congratulations to Nathan Baylor. Both of you guys are excellent coaches. We wish you all the very best. Everybody stay safe out there. God bless, and good night.